There are moments in science when the universe whispers something so subtle, so profound, that humanity can barely comprehend it. These are the turning points when a single observation fractures the illusion of certainty and reminds us that reality is far stranger than our equations suggest. It began quietly, almost insignificantly. In the stillness of July's night sky, astronomers detected a faint glimmer, a solitary point of light adrift in the vast cosmic ocean. At first, no one paid much attention. After all, the heavens are filled with such wanderers, comets, asteroids, fragments of creation endlessly circling the void. But as data accumulated, something about this newcomer refused to conform. Its motion defied our predictions. Its brightness pulsed with a strange regularity, and its trajectory hinted at an origin far beyond the familiar boundaries of our solar system. To the untrained eye, it was just another speck among billions. Yet to those who spend their lives gazing into the abyss, this object felt different. There was an elegance to its motion, a precision that whispered of intent rather than chaos. It was as if the cosmos itself had drawn back the curtain for a brief moment, inviting us to witness a mystery it had kept hidden for eons. And so began the story of 3I Atlas, a name that would soon echo through the halls of observatories and research labs around the world. In that unremarkable point of light lay the potential to challenge the deepest assumptions of modern physics. For centuries, we've looked to the stars seeking confirmation that our theories hold true. But sometimes, the universe answers not with reassurance, but with revolution. We are now standing at the threshold of such a revolution. The question is not whether we're ready for the answer, but whether we have the courage to listen when the universe finally decides to speak. If discoveries like this fascinate you, stay with me and let's listen carefully together. The next data point could rewrite everything we think we know about the cosmos. In the grand story of our cosmos, there are moments when something enters our sky that simply doesn't belong. In 2017, we had our first visitor, Oumuamua, a needle-shaped enigma that slipped past our sun and left us questioning everything we knew about interstellar space. 2 years later came 2I divided by Borisov, the second messenger from beyond. A comet-like traveler that confirmed the interstellar highway was not as empty as we once believed. And now, standing at the frontier of 2025, we face a third visitor, 3I Atlas. At first, it seemed like just another blip on our screens, a faint dot moving silently through the darkness. But as astronomers began charting its course, an unease settled over the scientific community. 3I Atlas was moving far too fast, 152,000 miles per hour. Nearly 5 times the speed of the average asteroid in our solar neighborhood. It sliced through the void with precision, unperturbed by gravitational boundaries or solar radiation. It came not from our asteroid belt, not from the Kuiper belt, not even from the frozen mystery of the Oort cloud. Its trajectory traced back to the deep interstellar gulf, the cold, lightless expanse between the stars. To travel from such distances requires more than chance. It demands time, eons, perhaps millennia, and a kind of endurance that no ordinary comet could survive. Yet here it was, gliding effortlessly, its luminosity stable, its path unwavering. Scientists called it 3I Atlas, the third interstellar object ever recorded. But the name felt almost naive, as if our language wasn't built to describe something so far beyond the familiar. To the public, it was another cosmic curiosity. To those of us who study the deep universe, it felt like a test, a question sent across the stars. Will humanity notice? For centuries, we have been explorers, mapping the heavens as if they were a distant mirror of our curiosity. But perhaps, with 3I Atlas, the mirror has turned. Perhaps, for the first time, the universe is looking back. There are moments in science when the universe does something so unexpected, so deliberate, that it sends a chill down your spine. For months, astronomers around the world had been tracking 3I Atlas, its path stable, its glow constant, its mystery deepening. Then, without warning, the cosmos spoke. It began as a faint pulse, a whisper among the static of the universe. But within seconds, that whisper grew into something unmistakable, a signal, not random noise, not the chaotic hiss of cosmic background radiation. This was structured, organized, deliberate. Across continents, radio telescopes flared to life, their detectors flooded with data. Observatories from Chile to Hawaii, from the Atacama Plateau to the icy plains of Greenland, all recorded the same thing, a burst of radio energy so coherent, so mathematically precise, that it ruled out coincidence. For decades, scientists like myself have dreamed of this moment, the day the universe might finally answer back. Yet when it came, we were unprepared for the weight of its implication. Could this be interference from Earth? A misread signal from a passing satellite? Or was it something infinitely larger, a message sent across the abyss, carried by a traveler older than our civilization itself? The burst lasted just 4.2 seconds. But that was enough. Within those fleeting moments, the pattern repeated twice, once in a low harmonic frequency, once in a narrow, laser-like band. It was as if someone, or something, was testing the waters, seeing if we were listening. Immediately, data poured into research centers. Teams across the globe cross-verified the readings, ruling out atmospheric distortion, solar flares, and terrestrial contamination. What remained was unnervingly clear. The signal came from 3I Atlas itself. Then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, the signal vanished. 3I Atlas fell silent once more, continuing its silent glide through the void as if nothing had happened. But the damage, or perhaps the awakening, had already been done. In the corridors of NASA and the European Space Agency, questions began to echo that no one dared ask aloud. If this was communication, who or what was the intended recipient? Was it reaching out to us, or sending a message to something else entirely? For the first time in human history, we weren't just observing the cosmos had spoken. And the silence that followed was louder than anything we had ever heard. What's your take on this? Could such precision be the work of nature? Or are we witnessing something intentionally reaching out across the stars? Share your thoughts below. Every perspective helps decode the mystery. In science, we often take comfort in the patterns of nature, the predictable, the explainable, the measurable. But 3I Atlas defied every pattern we knew. From the moment our telescopes fixed their gaze upon it, the data began whispering something profoundly unsettling. This object did not behave like a natural creation of the cosmos. Its first peculiarity was its light. Comets, asteroids, and interstellar debris all reflect sunlight in uneven ways, their surfaces rough, scarred, and ancient. But 3I Atlas gleamed with a brilliance that was almost engineered. Its surface was smooth, its reflections unnervingly uniform, as though light itself was being redirected by design rather than by accident. Some astronomers compared its albedo, its reflectivity, to polished metal alloys, not rock or ice. It shone not like a relic of chaos, but like a mirror built with purpose. Then came the matter of its rotation. Natural celestial bodies tumble through space, wobbling, spinning unpredictably, shaped by billions of years of collisions and gravitational nudges. But 3I Atlas rotated with perfect grace. Its spin rate was constant, its orientation steady, its reflective surfaces aligning toward Earth's observatories with almost mathematical precision. It was as if the object wanted to be seen, as if it understood the geometry of our observation windows. The third anomaly was thermal. The Webb telescope's infrared instruments revealed something no comet had ever shown before. One hemisphere of 3I Atlas remained consistently warmer than the other, not fluctuating, not random controlled. This defied every known model of natural heating in space. The only logical explanation would require an internal heat source, a mechanism to manage thermal balance, much like the radiator system of a spacecraft. By this point, whispers spread through the astrophysics community. Could this be a probe, a vessel, A relic of some extinct civilization? Most dismissed such ideas as science fiction. But as more data emerged, the boundary between imagination and observation began to blur. Every reading, every spectral trace, every rotation measurement painted the same haunting picture. 3I Atlas was not just drifting, it was performing. Its movements carried intention. Its silence carried weight. And for those of us watching closely, a realization began to take shape, one that both thrilled and terrified us. If nature did not make this object, then something else did. At that moment, the line separating science from philosophy began to vanish. 3I Atlas was no longer merely an object of study, it had become a question, one that reached deep into the heart of what it means to be human in a universe that may, at last, be whispering back. What would it mean if we're not just observing the universe, but being observed in return? Could 3I Atlas be evidence that curiosity itself is universal? Share your reasoning. Every hypothesis brings us one step closer to the truth. In science, patterns are everything. When we encounter something that doesn't fit those patterns, it either expands our understanding or breaks it entirely. 3I Atlas is doing both. When the Webb Space Telescope turned its instruments toward this interstellar traveler, what it found was not just unusual, it was impossible by every conventional measure. Spectroscopic analysis revealed chemical fingerprints, unlike anything seen in natural cosmic bodies. Instead of the familiar water vapor and frozen carbon compounds typical of comets, 3I Atlas released massive streams of carbon dioxide 10 times the expected levels. Even more puzzling, iron, which should dominate its metallic composition, was virtually absent. In its place, nickel appeared in astonishing abundance, forming spectral lines so intense that at first, scientists thought the data had been corrupted. But the anomalies didn't end there. Embedded within its emissions were complex carbon-based molecules organized, repeating, almost systematic in their structure. They weren't random chains of atoms forged in stellar chaos. They carried patterns, molecular architectures that whispered of design. To the cautious scientist, it was chemistry. To the dreamer, it was code. Then came the most disquieting revelation of all. 3I Atlas wasn't solid. Using density measurements and gravitational modeling, researchers discovered that this object possessed an internal void, an emptiness that couldn't be explained by any known natural process. Asteroids and comets are compact, dense aggregates of rock and ice, fused together by eons of gravitational compression. They don't have hollow interiors, yet 3I Atlas did. It behaved as though its mass were distributed along a shell, as if its body were intentionally constructed with an inner cavity, perhaps to reduce weight, perhaps for some other, more enigmatic function. As the data accumulated, the picture became stranger still. Within that hollow space, faint electromagnetic oscillations were detected, not the random static of deep space, but rhythmic pulses, repeating with mechanical precision. They seemed to originate from within the structure, modulating ever so slightly as 3I Atlas rotated. It was as if something inside was alive, or at least aware. When this information reached the major observatories, disbelief gave way to silence. Scientists have seen comets behave erratically before. They've seen chemical oddities and unexpected emissions, but never have we seen all these phenomena converge in one object from another star system, moving with intention, radiating like a beacon in the dark. So what is 3I Atlas? Some propose it's an exotic natural fragment, formed under conditions we can't yet imagine, an emissary of alien chemistry. Others, more daringly, suggest it might be an artifact, a relic of technology so ancient and advanced that it masquerades as stone and ice. But the truth may lie beyond even those extremes. 3I Atlas could represent a bridge between the living and the mechanical, a synthesis of matter and meaning, crafted not merely to travel, but to communicate. If so, then we are not looking at a rock from the stars. We are staring at a message, a construction built to be found. And that realization changes everything. If the data truly points to design, then what kind of intelligence builds across light years? Share your hypothesis. Could 3-Eye Atlas be nature's most elaborate illusion, or evidence of something far beyond our comprehension? In physics, motion is truth. The way an object moves tells you what it is, what forces act upon it, what laws govern its existence. But when an object chooses how to move, when its trajectory begins to look less like the result of gravity and more like the product of decision, everything we know begins to tremble. That is what we are seeing with 3-Eye Atlas. When the first datasets came in, astronomers noticed something subtle, the tiniest deviations in its orbit, almost imperceptible at first. 3-Eye Atlas wasn't obeying the normal dance of celestial mechanics. It was making corrections, small, precise, rhythmic adjustments to its path, as if invisible hands were nudging it through space. At first, we attributed it to outgassing, the way comets sometimes vent jets of vapor that slightly alter their motion. But 3-Eye Atlas showed no visible tail, no plume, no ejected debris. It was clean. And yet, it changed course, with a delicacy that nature simply doesn't perform. Then, the timing revealed something even stranger. Each of these trajectory shifts coincided almost perfectly with Earth's optimal viewing windows, the exact moments when our observatories had the clearest line of sight. Imagine that, a cosmic object, millions of miles away, subtly adjusting itself so that we could see it better. Coincidence? Statistically, almost impossible. It was as if 3-Eye Atlas knew it was being watched. For the scientific community, this realization was unsettling. Nature does not care about our gaze. It does not pause for the observer. Yet 3-Eye Atlas seemed to respond to it. Each time we reoriented our telescopes, fine-tuned our instruments, or increased our signal exposure, the object's brightness stabilized, its spin subtly aligned, as though acknowledging the attention. Some began to whisper the unthinkable. Perhaps 3-Eye Atlas was not reacting to observation. Perhaps it was inviting it. To put this into perspective, we've seen a similar mystery before. In 2017, Oumuamua exhibited unexplained acceleration, faint but undeniable. The leading theory then was solar radiation pressure, photons gently pushing on a thin, elongated body like a cosmic sail. But that explanation demanded a shape and material that bordered on science fiction. Now, with 3-Eye Atlas repeating and expanding that same anomaly, only more precise, more deliberate, we are forced to ask a deeper question. What if these aren't coincidences at all, but part of a sequence? Perhaps Oumuamua was the prelude. 2, Eye divided by Borisov, the bridge, and 3, Eye Atlas, the message. When I think about this, I'm reminded of Galileo's first look through a telescope, the moment humanity's understanding of the heavens changed forever. Back then, the universe seemed indifferent, distant, silent. But what if it's not silent anymore? What if these visitors are not random travelers, but tests, gentle knocks on the door of our curiosity, measuring how ready we are to open it? Each maneuver, each glint of light, each whispered deviation in the darkness, it all feels too elegant, too aware. If that's true, then for the first time in human history, we are not just observing motion across the sky. We are witnessing intention written in starlight. And that realization changes not just our science, but our place in the cosmic story. Do you think these movements are coincidence or communication? Could 3-Eye Atlas like Oumuamua and Borisov before it be part of a larger pattern? Share your logic, your skepticism, or your wonder. Every theory matters in decoding what might be the universe's first response. In the history of science, progress has always thrived on openness, the free exchange of data, debate, and discovery. But every now and then, something emerges that seems to frighten even the institutions built to confront the unknown. 3-Eye Atlas has become one of those moments. At first, the world's space agencies were transparent. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory posted daily updates. The European Space Agency released real-time trajectory maps. Public enthusiasm soared. The scientific community buzzed with excitement. But then, almost overnight, everything changed. Data streams were cut. Observation logs vanished. Scheduled press briefings were abruptly canceled. The once open databases that fed the curiosity of thousands of amateur astronomers went dark. The official explanation was brief and chilling. For reasons of national security, further data concerning 3I Atlas will remain classified until further notice. National security in relation to a celestial object millions of miles away. That phrase alone sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Within days, researchers found themselves reassigned, their access to raw telescope data revoked. Collaborative teams that had worked together for decades suddenly fractured under quiet orders. Requests filed under the Freedom of Information Act returned documents so heavily redacted that they looked more like ink-stained puzzles than scientific reports. Whispers began to spread that the Webb telescope had detected something too extraordinary, too paradigm-shifting, to release. Some insiders hinted that during a classified observation cycle, the telescope recorded structured electromagnetic patterns, emanating from within the object, signals too coherent to be natural. Others spoke of images showing geometric formations across 3I Atlas's surface, angular patterns that no known geological process could explain. Whatever the truth was, it vanished behind locked doors and closed briefings. And this silence, this deliberate withholding, may be more revealing than any signal from space. Because when governments classify data about a comet, the implication is not that they understand it too well, but that they don't understand it at all. Perhaps what they found didn't fit into any known category, neither natural nor artificial, neither safe nor explainable. In private corridors, scientists wrestle with a haunting dilemma. If 3I Atlas truly represents an engineered object, a messenger or probe, how does one tell the public that we are no longer alone? How do you reveal that an intelligence capable of crossing interstellar space has not only arrived, but may already be communicating? Throughout history, humanity's greatest discoveries have been met with both wonder and fear. The Earth was once the center of the universe, until we learned it wasn't. The atom was once a miracle of understanding, until it became a weapon. And now, perhaps, 3I Atlas is our next great revelation or our next great reckoning. Maybe the silence isn't a cover-up. Maybe it's hesitation, the pause before a civilization takes its next irreversible step. For now, the cosmos remains quiet again. But that quiet feels different, not peaceful, but watchful. Somewhere out there, a reflective object drifts through the darkness, and for the first time, it's not clear who is observing whom. At this point, the mystery of 3I Atlas leaves us standing on a knife's edge between two extraordinary possibilities. The first is that 3I Atlas is natural, a cosmic anomaly so rare, so complex, that it forces us to rewrite everything we thought we knew about the birth and behavior of interstellar objects. If this is true, it means the universe is capable of producing phenomena that defy even our most advanced theories. It would be a triumph for science, a reminder that nature itself remains the greatest engineer. But the second possibility is far more unsettling. What if 3I Atlas is not a coincidence, but a construction? What if it was built a probe, a vessel, or even a silent observer sent across the gulf of space, not by chance, but by intention? Could it be that we are being studied, much as we once studied the first microbes under a microscope? And if so, by whom? Is 3I Atlas a messenger, a test, or a warning? Each hypothesis stretches our imagination to its limits, and perhaps that's the point. Maybe these visitors, Oumuamua, 2I divided by Borisov, and now 3I Atlas are not random at all, but part of a gradual unveiling. Maybe we are being prepared, step by step, to confront a truth that would otherwise shatter us. Think about it. For centuries, humanity has looked outward, searching for signs of life beyond Earth. But what if the search has already ended not because we found the universe, but because the universe found us? We stand at the threshold of something vast and unknown. The question is no longer whether we're alone, but whether we're ready for what comes next. So tell me, if 3I Atlas truly is watching us, what would you say back to the stars? What do you believe the data is really telling us: coincidence, construction, or communication? not guesses, but logic. Leave your interpretation below. Together, we may decode what the cosmos has quietly been trying to say all along. At this point, the mystery of Three-Eye Atlas leaves us standing on a knife's edge between two extraordinary possibilities. The first is that Three-Eye Atlas is natural, a cosmic anomaly so rare, so complex, that it forces us to rewrite everything we thought we knew about the birth and behavior of interstellar objects. If this is true, it means the universe is capable of producing phenomena that defy even our most advanced theories. It would be a triumph for science, a reminder that nature itself remains the greatest engineer. But the second possibility is far more unsettling. What if Three-Eye Atlas is not a coincidence, but a construction? What if it was built a probe, a vessel, or even a silent observer sent across the gulf of space, not by chance, but by intention? Could it be that we are being studied, much as we once studied the first microbes under a microscope? And if so, by whom? Is Three-Eye Atlas a messenger, a test, or a warning? Each hypothesis stretches our imagination to its limits, and perhaps that's the point. Maybe these visitors, Oumuamua, Two-Eye divided by Borisov, and now Three-Eye Atlas are not random at all, but part of a gradual unveiling. Maybe we are being prepared, step by step, to confront a truth that would otherwise shatter us. Think about it. For centuries, humanity has looked outward, searching for signs of life beyond Earth. But what if the search has already ended not because we found the universe, but because the universe found us? We stand at the threshold of something vast and unknown. The question is no longer whether we're alone, but whether we're ready for what comes next. So, tell me, if Three-Eye Atlas truly is watching us, what would you say back to the stars? What do you believe the data is really telling us? Coincidence, construction, or communication? Not guesses, but logic. Leave your interpretation below. Together, we may decode what the cosmos has quietly been trying to say all along.